What's up, guys? It's Compass coming back at you with another Week 6 pick'ems. I really apologize. I didn't do Week 5, had some internet issues, some weather problems, so yeah, I couldn't do Week 5, but wasn't able to watch too many of the games. If you like Power Pros content, make sure to like and subscribe on this video. Make sure to check down in the subscription for all my links, my Twitch, the Power Pros World Discord server, where all this EPL action is happening. Uh, I'm not gonna lie, didn't get to really watch any of the games in week 5, which is unfortunate. It was the doubleheader week. Also missed a lot of the games in week 4, so I am a little behind, but let's just talk about the schedule or the let's just talk about the standings and like how they're shaping out. Of course, like couple people are ahead because they played this week's games. Of course, me and Frisk played our game, so that puts me a little bit ahead of MC Scales on where I'm supposed to be, even though we do have the same amount of losses. But before looking at any of the matchups or anything, I mean Zumi, he's dropped a couple of games, but he still has the first seed kind of locked down. Um, I would be really shocked if he loses it at this point. I pumped just where we expected him to be, second, right in the running for that first seed. Also, B Farrell right in the running for it too. Sir Bacon Bits also right there with them, but the thing is, he's facing a very tough schedule. I think he faces I Pump and B Farrell and M. Frisk, who's gonna be fighting for that playoff spot. But yeah, Penguin, YG, they both are solidly in there. I think that my series this week put me solidly in there. Fighting to get themselves like really in that playoff race is Scales. Scales is followed right behind by M. Frisk. I mean, Scales just needs to take one win in a series this week to take that lead into the eighth seed, but we'll see what happens with that. Of course, Slime still has a chance. Slime still has a big chance if he can get a run going at the end of the season, and we know what his talent is. Also, Sid, I mean, it's gonna be a little bit tougher for him with him 500 right now, but he does have pitching talent. He has the hitting talent. If he goes on a run through the ending half of the season or the ending stretch of the season, he could easily sneak into that eighth spot. And of course, I mean, I'm not sure about Jeff or Healy or any of these guys. Their chances, it's going to take a huge, massive run, but I don't think it's impossible. I mean, they just need some type of run. But just coming up here, of course, you got me. I'm solidly in there, but barely. I mean, if these next series go any type of wrong, I could be easily fighting for my life going for this. I mean, I'll talk about my series from week 6 in a little bit, but it really helped what I did that week to solidify my playoff spot. I think it's soon enough where we could maybe start talking about potential matchups. I mean, Zumi, no matter who he matches up from here, I think he's going to be the clear favorite. Although I do have questions about if Zumi does get the first seed, how motivated is he to go on and win the whole thing? Because like at that point you've already secured your berth into E Premier final. So, it's like, is he really gonna try his hardest, or is he gonna, maybe drop a series that he maybe shouldn't? Maybe I wouldn't expect him to lose in the first round, but I don't know if he makes it into the finals if he gets that first seed. Maybe he loses out on that hunger. Like to see him prove me wrong and win the regular season and the EPL championship again, going back to back, but I don't know. That's just my thinking of it. I pump another favorite. I mean, he's just, of course, he's been pitching amazingly as they talked about in the High Council. He's a hitting beast, even though he's been a little bit cold on his hitting lately. I mean, he still rakes it way better than most of the other players in this league. including me, much including me. I do not hit bombs like he does. But 57 runs is definitely low for him. I mean, Penguin and Zumi are definitely proving that there are some hitting forces in this league that contact hit. Both of them are true contact hitters, kind of like myself. They're really just proving that they could put runs up on the board without really needing to power hit a lot of the time. I'm not sure how many home runs each of them have. I'm sure they have a couple, but they've just been playing offense out of their mind. But I think Zumi will, have an easy matchup against anyone. iPump is gonna maybe have a tougher matchup because this is like starting to get. I think if he faces anyone through here, if they drop even Sir Bacon Bits, he could have some problems. He could have a tough road. I mean, let's be real. Everyone's going to have a tough road. I mean, no one's going to have any type of easy matchup. But if iPump faces like someone that can contact hit, like a Penguin or maybe even myself, I know I took the series off him, but probably would be different in the playoffs. I mean, he would lock in a little bit more, but with contact errors like that, with him and like B Farrell, their shitty defense. I mean, I could see someone like me, Penguin, MC Scales, us contact hitters. We could really take the series off them. I mean, they would probably be favored in a series above any of us. Maybe Penguin would be favored in a series above B Farrell. Maybe above Pump. He's good like that, but I mean, those matchups in general, their defense just isn't really that good, especially their infield defense. So that could be a very tough matchup for them, even though they do have the pitching talent. I mean, B. Farrell has Rebukai and Allen. Sir Bacon Bits, he does have a tough bit of the schedule to go. I could see him dropping down and having to face someone like Pump or B. Farrell or Zumi in the first round. Of course, someone jumps up. I think YG or Penguin could jump up and potentially face someone down below here. I mean, I don't even know what I'm rambling about anymore. I just said a whole bunch of nothing, but oh well. I hope y'all got something from that because that was a whole bunch of rambling in my opinion. If we check on the bottom half of the standings, I mean, Matt has been really disappointing to be honest. I mean, he's rusty. I get it. He had to shake off the rust, but 3-15 from someone that was in the playoffs in season 1 Triple P. I mean, all four people in this season 1 Triple P all turned out to be great players. I'm probably the worst. Me or MC Scales are the worst of those. It was me, MC Scales, and Penguin, of course. We're all in the playoff hunting. Matt, unfortunately, 3-15, but I mean, what more can you say other than he didn't play season 2? It's just kind of hard to get that type of run going whenever you can't play consistently. And I know that isn't his fault because of his situation and everything, and he can't play on his Switch, but it's just unfortunate for him. Um, Clutch, unfortunately, had got knocked out the playoffs. He did beat me week 5, but it just wasn't enough to keep him in the playoff hunt. I mean, at this point with 3 wins, it would have to take a huge run anyway for him to even have a chance. Same with Serena, 4 wins. Just season not looking good for her, but she is known to turn it up at the back half of the season, but I just don't think it's gonna be enough. Xlong made some trades. Just it took him a little bit too long to adjust to no lock on. I mean, he is definitely talented, definitely super good, showed a lot of flashes of greatness throughout this season, but just unfortunately too many holes. He had a tough start to the schedule that I don't really think helped him out too much. I mean, we could see where a season could go. I mean, all these people still in the playoff hunt theoretically, so they could have a miracle type run and really get to it. I mean, John, he hasn't played his week 6 games, but it's been a little bit tough for him. He's gotten off some pretty good wins. He's looked good in some places, had some flashes of greatness as long as X long, but the series or the season just hasn't turned out great for him. And Healy and Jeff, I mean, they're still in the playoff fight, but it's really gonna take something crazy going down for them to make it. I mean, both of them have showed that they're definitely not ones to mess with. They can compete with the best of them, but I mean, it's just there's some of the top players in this league. I mean, there's no shame in a 7-11 record. That's really good. And if we go back to EPL next year with the 10 teams, he's definitely going to be a contender in whatever league he's in. I think all these players can, but whenever you just have all these great players in one league, it gets really tough. All right, hopefully y'all got something from that talk. I mean, whole bunch of rambling to be honest. I mean, hopefully something that was gained there in knowledge, but let's just go on to look up at the matchups. The first matchup we got Serena and the Soccer Foxes versus the Wild Jokers. Of course, we just talked about them. Two lower teams, but could definitely put up a fight against each other. Um, if we go to Serena's rest, she has to sit out Atsumori for 2 games, which isn't too great. Majora for 1 game. Zenzai and Izayoi for 2 games also. So a lot of their pitchers are sitting out for a while, but they are getting to start Hoshi for game 1. So her situation just isn't looking too great. Matt, on the other hand, he doesn't have too much rest going on, but Shindo is out for the entire series. Shindo is one of his lead relievers with Tyrant. I mean, he still has Nijitani, One, Shirana, all his main pitchers. Narumi only has 1 game of rest, but his pitching talent just isn't that great, and with Shindo out, it's going to be really tough. Serena, at this point of the season, this is where she usually starts turning it on, starts really hitting really well. I think that the Osaka Foxes are going to take this series in a split. If I can. Okay, I just filled in that. Okay, I don't. That was embarrassing, and I'm not even gonna cut it because I want to get this video out as soon as possible. So y'all just watched. Y'all just watched me embarrass myself. I don't know how to work Excel. Actually, this is Google Docs, but talking about my series with Frisk, I held him to no runs. I mean, he did score runs in game 1. He was up 1-0, but he disconnected and he chose to forfeit. I mean, it was his choice, but don't feel good about it. Feels good to get the other 2 games though, but I mean, that first game just didn't feel good. Looking past all of that, um, it really solidified my place in the playoff standings. I don't know if I take game 1. I honestly don't think I do take game 1 in the situation that he didn't forfeit. I was already down 1-0 and I really was not hitting well. If you want to go check out that video is also on my YouTube. That should be my latest upload before this one. But just was not hitting well. I was down 0-1 and fielding error happened and he DC'd and I don't know. I can't explain what happened. I mean, just looking past that, I got the sweep in this series and really helped me out. It really put Doc Crew in a tough place in this playoff standing. I mean, it's gonna take him going on a nice run. I mean, he faces Anthony P. That could be a nice matchup, but it's gonna have to take him going on a little run. I mean, he isn't gonna have to go on like a major run or anything, but MC Scales or myself are gonna have to drop a couple games, and I mean, he's still his playoff chances are very much alive and well. He just gotta perform through these next couple weeks. Going on to the Green Revolution versus the Chicago Curve, YG versus Clutch. YG gets the sweep as expected. I think this dropped Curve out of the playoff running. Curve did put up, Clutch did put up the fight in game 3, took him to extras, which is pretty impressive. But YG, just from the stat sheet, I didn't really get to watch this game, but just from the stat sheet, he really turned it up and he's really finding his own in this league. I mean, of course, through High Council, we found out how much he's been. I mean, YG is really finding his own in this league. I mean, we heard from High Council from Frisk how much he's been practicing. I mean, we know that YG, he's a workaholic. He's a gym rat. He be hitting them cages. It's really showing out. I mean, Clutch can be proud that he took the game to extra innings. Can't lie, I didn't get to catch this game. My internet wasn't back in time, but just looking at this, I would be proud that I took YG to extras. I mean, he beat me down really bad too, so no shame in that. YG, one of the best players. Wouldn't be surprised if he takes it, takes the entire thing, wins the entire playoffs. Definitely one of the favorites to do that. Him and I Pump can are my two favorites personally. B Farrell can also do that with his pitching talent and his talent on the sticks, to be honest. But I mean, let's be real. YG, if he doesn't qualify through this, he's gonna qualify through the online qualifier. I mean, I have no doubt about that. Every online qualifier he competes and he competes hard. He'll probably be one in the US qualifier, if not two, if Kang decides to play. I think that's one of the only people that could beat him in that category. But that's way off the topic of EPL. That's whole luck on 3 topic. All right, moving on to our next series, we got the North Pole No Sox versus the Lost City Monarchs. This is going to be a huge series between two of our top teams in this league. Of course, Anthony P has had a little bit easier of a schedule going into this. If we're looking at rest, iPump, he really only has rest for Onishi and Yakuman too. Both of them are sitting out 2 games, but everyone, Kiba, Yamino, all of them, they don't got to sit out at all, which is pretty scary for the North Pole No Sox. If we go to their rest, the North Pole No Sox, where are they at? North Pole No Sox. I mean, they're sitting out Aoba a game, sitting out Suzumoto a game. They're gonna have Go and Akari, game 1. Hoshi sitting out game 2. Their rest is looking a bit out of shape compared to iPumps. Sir Bacon Bits, Anthony P. I mean, I would say this series is definitely gonna be a split. It's just gonna be hard to take game 1, especially if iPump decides to go Kiba for game 1. But Aoba, he should be able to take game 2. Aoba has been one of the best pitchers, but I don't know about game 3. I think if you pitch Hoshi or Suzumoto, they kind of get smacked around by iPump if he's on his game. I mean, iPump hasn't been on fire. Self-admittedly, he said it himself, but he has been pitching super well. He's still one of the top players in this league. I think that I have him taking this series in a split. I think that Aoba is going to come in and win game 2 for the No Sox, but I think that the Monarchs got the other 2 games. All right, this is also going to be kind of a sleeper matchup. You wouldn't think that this is going to be too great of a matchup based on where they're at in the standings, but the Bandits and B Farrell are really one of the top teams in the league. Their pitching talent is amazing. And the Bay Area Rockets, led by John, their record doesn't really reflect it, but they've really shown flashes of what they could do in no lock on. Just looking at rest, Amagi out for 2 games, Queen Kokoro out for 2 games, also Katori out for 1 game. That shouldn't really bend them out of shape. But most importantly, they have Hanoa, Yamaguchi, Alex Reddy, 3 of their main pitchers. Only Amagi is their main pitcher sitting. If we go over to B Farrell's rest, Ribukai got to sit 2 games, Allen got to sit 1 game, but Kurama's ready to go game 1. I mean, he has such a good pitching staff, it's really hard to catch him out of shape, even if his 2 top pitchers are resting for game 1. I mean, he still has Kurama, he still has pitching talent that can get him through game 1, in my opinion, which is super tough on John, but if he's going to take a game, it's going to be game 1, but I honestly have the Bandits taking the sweep. Of course, the series can be split. I think that B Farrell pretty handedly has game 2 and game 3 as long as Allen and Ribukai both do their jobs as top pitchers and aces, but um I mean, B Farrell's just been on a roll. He's one of the top players in the game. I keep on saying there's a lot of top players in this game, but there really is. This league just has some of the best North American talent, and B Farrell is just he's super good. You can't say anything about it. All right, now we got Hampton County Tabby Cats and Haha Healy versus the Smooth Jazz. I actually made a trade with Haha Healy pretty recently during my game last night. Traded Mitsumori and Rokaku for Ome and Kawahashi. Just give myself more of a surefire third baseman to make sure that I don't have to play Mitsumori or Amane that often. I could have someone more reliable like Ome to play third base, and I could just stick Regu in the outfield. That's my thinking there. But I think the Tabby Cats also come out as winners too. I think most people would say that they are the winner on paper. They did definitely get more talent from me, but I just thought that Ome fit my team better than those two. I didn't want to be stuck in a hard place. But Tabby Cats get Mitsumori, a nice pinch runner, nice backup outfield. They also get Rokaku, who has mood swinger if you throw him in backups. I mean, their arm F throwing and E arm strength just not really good at third base, but with Pink it's usable, which they're Pink a lot of the time. If you throw them in backups, that's a little tip right there. If you want good moods, you want to throw your players in backups, and I recommend doing it with mood swingers mostly. But anyway, going to the rest, I just went on a big long tangent right there. Jeff, he has a bunch of rest. He doesn't really have too many people available for game 1. Only Bashiki, Hibikino, Suiko ready for game 1. That game's going to be rough. Mileman is going to be sitting out until game 3. Onishi with goggles is going to be sitting out game 1. He's going to be ready game 2. Just not looking too good for him, but going to Healy's rest. Unkai sitting out the entire series, which is going to be super rough. Graviton Arai sitting out for game 1, but he still has Shinogi and Tachibana, all his lower pitchers plus Oda ready for game 1. I think that the Tabby Cats, I think that I don't know if I want to say sweep or split. I'm gonna go the safe option. I'm gonna say Tabby Cat split the series with the Smooth Jazz. I think that Jeff can get a game off Taha Healy, but it's gonna be kind of tough. Um, I could definitely see Jeff winning the series though. Going on to the next series, already been played, Flickin' Squibs versus North Shore Hanu. Of course, Zumi keeping up the dominance. Sweeps the Flickin' Squibs. Of course, this doesn't say much about X Long. I mean, Zumi. We all know how great he is, but completely shuts him down. Puts up 16 runs on him. Just a really dominant performance. I didn't get to watch this game, so I can't really tell you anything outside of the box score, but it just looked like a dominant performance from him. Hopefully, X Long takes it on the chin and hops into next week against Matt and bounces back really nicely. Um, Crew Hoppers versus Purple Hurricanes is going to be a great matchup. Two people that are fighting really hard to get into the playoffs. Going into Slimefall and the Purple Hurricanes rest, we have Fukumizu and Tachikawa out for game one, but other than that, everyone's ready for game one. No one's sitting out for game two unless they pitch in game one, of course, but so his rest is looking all good, although his pitchers aren't really too good. On MC scale side, his pitcher rest is a lot worse, but his rotation is a lot better on paper. Of course, you got Afro Akari not ready until game three. Hokuto, the worst version, not ready until game three. Izitsu not ready until game two. It's really only gonna have Octavia, Yumishiro, and Yukino ready for game one, which is going to be really tough for him. He's going to have to really rely on Octavia, in my opinion. I think that Slimefall is going to make good work of Yumishiro and Yukino. We all know Slimefall hits them bombs. I think that MC Scales takes the series, but it's going to be a split series. I think that Slimefall takes that game one off the back of the main pitchers being out of rest. I think that Izitsu can come in game two and help them out. Izitsu and Hibino, they're a little bit better than Yumishiro and Yukuno. Unless Octavio really comes in and does work and he gets through with Yumishiro and Yukino, I think that the Hoppers are going to lose game one. Going on to our next matchup, and our last matchup of the week, we got Penguin Pouch and the Soda Beer Sunrise versus the White Comets. Going to let's see who's resting. Going to the Soda Beer Sunrise rest, they're losing out on Red Taramoto and Nuki in game one, but they still have Lockhart, Alvin Lockhart, DJB, and not really too good, but they still got Papillon for game one. I think if they take a game, I think if Big Sid wants to take a game, it's game one. But I mean, Big Sid, he does have very good pitching staff. I know he's been shopping around his pitching staff, which I mean, I don't know if I would personally do that if I were him. I know he said he wants an upgrade in pitching talent, which I don't know how he's possibly gonna do that. He has Doe and Suzakaze who he's shopping around and wants an upgrade, which at that point your only upgrade at that point is one of the fastball pitchers, one of the heavy fastball pitchers, and I don't think that anyone with a heavy fastball pitcher is gonna be willing to give them up. But anyway, Doe is sitting out until game three. Suzakaze sitting out game two. Kagurazaka sitting out until game two. I meant to say Suzakaze sitting out until game two. He's going to be living off Tamane, Bonda, and Julius. Just said earlier, if he wants to win a game, game one would be the game that he wants to win. But Doe and Suzakaze, Kagurazaka, all of them can really put in work, but I mean, as we looked at earlier, Penguin Pouch literally has the most runs scored in this league. He's a hitting demon. I think that he's gonna be able to still hit off those. I mean, those aren't like the best, most unhittable pitchers. I find Doe a little bit easy to hit. The cutter's kind of easy to hit unless you cheese it. Suzakaze is kind of hard to hit, but definitely not unhittable. Kagurazaka, same thing. A little bit easier to hit than Suzakaze. Honestly, I have the Sunrise in a sweep. Unfortunately enough for Big Sid. I think that he will put up a really big fight, and it will prove that he's a top player to a lot of people. But I just think that the Sunrise, they're just one of the best teams in this league, and they're hungry for that, for a higher seed. I'm sure they don't want to face one of these top teams. They're in the bottom half. I mean, right now they would face B Farrell, and I'm sure he does not want that to happen. I'm sure he wants to climb those leaderboards. So I would expect Soda Sunrise and Penguin Pouch to be very hungry for the sweep this series. But I think that's it. I think that's all that I have to say. Not gonna do a lot of cutting in this video, just trying to get these videos out as soon as possible. I want to make up for all the time lost with my Wi-Fi and all the weather problems. Also, I apologize for any background noise. It's been pretty crazy since everything's gone down. Really appreciate y'all tuning in. Of course, look down in the description for my Twitch. I stream my games there. Of course, my games are here on YouTube too. Also, join the Discord if you want to see when these games are played. Playoffs is coming up very soon, so you definitely don't want to miss when those matchups are being played. Also, new Power Pros came out. Haven't really gotten to play it, but I do want to upload some videos on it. Put down in the description what you think I should play, because I don't even know. I've seen a couple of the new modes, but I don't understand them, and I don't even know what would be entertaining for y'all. Of course, Summer Koshian is coming soon, so I'm going to be uploading the new icon. We're going to be restarting Sherry Prep after only like 4 episodes, unfortunately, but I think that's it for the video. I really appreciate y'all tuning in. Make sure to like and subscribe on the video. It's Compass tuning out. See ya.